Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's play a game together.
Please, let's get some lore. I'm so excited for lore.
Why don't you just tell us about your culture somewhere, a little bit, slightly. Pretend Smol's interested in that you want to share. Just pretend.
Please make an effort. Lie to yourself and to us.
Just don't let me dodge, let me cover, let me deflect by telling you stuff about my culture. I want to hide your emotions. Share your culture instead.
Please, I need it. All right.
Okay, next time you have somebody who has a distinctive and unique culture that your protagonist is not from, or that the other player character isn't from, just have them deflect embarrassing moments by sharing culture aggressively.
Honestly, that would be super fun.
That would be hilarious and charming.
It also would be an interesting exercise, basically, for being like like your connectivity with your character kind of thing. Of going like, where exactly do you feel this character is from? Maybe also like some incentive for you going, I went through all those Wikipedia pages and now you all get to reap the benefits.
I did my authorial research.
Which is totally fine. It's not actually required, but sometimes, especially, like, I always feel it's kind of weird sometimes when people are like, I'm going to do something that is super directly inspired by, and then completely drops it out the window.
When they say, write what you know, it really is just what you're familiar with. Like, some of the games we've encountered, and one recent example, because we're going through the Arcana again, going, the hem of a garment is down at the base of a garment. It is not up high at the top of the garment.
Yeah, there's no hem.
It's not a sleeve, it's not a color, it's a hem.
It's a hem.
Don't write fashion like details if you don't know what they are, please. Unless you're gonna really just don't.
Either that, or basically the thing is being like, if you're gonna write it, expect then somebody's gonna come along and go, excuse me, that's not a hem.
Right. Anyway, it was funny the way we told it with a hem.
With a hem. Honestly, we've been giggling.
All right, so in the last episode, I guess we think there's a double extrapolation of here. I guess they just think he's quiet and handsome, but there's more to him.
And that's totally fine. That's been very obvious. He's not just quiet and handsome. Smol, you yourself have been like, he's intelligent. He is very observant.
He's thoughtful. He's particular. He's thorough.
He's just very quiet.
And he also does his research.
Both of us have actively complained, going, he doesn't seem shy. He just basically seems different socially.
He just seems like he's reserved because he's waiting to understand because he is a freaking foreigner. Smol seems to be insensitive to this. All right. She's like a nationalist, or I don't even know, a culture centrist or something.
Yeah, I don't know because I don't know what her
I don't know what the term is.
Anyway,
yes, especially when you are protective of me. Maybe you don't show them this side of you.
Who's them?
I don't know. Did we say that other line to him? I wish I knew when she was talking or thinking. Sometimes I really do. He turns back to face me with a more serious expression.
You're right. This side of me is only for you.
The front side of him is only for me.
Only for you.
At home, I actually wear a mask. And full body clothing.
Honestly, that would be fascinating. Culturally, of being like, since this is a certain like social experience, there would be a level of being like, this isn't like this is a way like to basically keep a sort of like level of like distance, or basically keep a level of like intimacy and familiarity.
I wanted to see the back of him so hard when he turned around. Like, do the other side of your character model, it'd be great.
I know, it'd be adorable.
Honestly, characters looking away look amazing, alright?
Yes. And then he turns, now get me on my right side, it's my best side.
On the left side, just my best side, yes. Now I'm blushing as my eyes roam over his chiseled face. Actually,
do you know what chiseled means? Oh my God!
Softer face. I do. There's a soft, gentle face. That is a smooth face, not chiseled.
Chiseled
it's like
faces.
Angular jaws and sharp angles. Chiseled is you have sharp angles and like points and like distinctive strong features.
Yes.
This is a soft face.
Chiseled is
now
a
you could say chiseled's jawline, because that line where they've got the outline, that is a sharp jawline. But the rest of his face, very smooth, very soft, not big chiseled features.
Yeah.
Like Cruella de Vil might have chiseled features with jaw, with like
cheekbones
like
that can cut glass.
That one, yes. All right. Roam. His face, I roam over his face. Woo! All right. Does he notice how hard my heart beats around him? And I've totally forgotten about my sandwich agenda still. I should distract from it. You should distract from
how hard your heart beats around him?
Does he notice?
Again.
I should distract him from it. So I've decided in that moment that yes, he does, and I should distract him.
Yes.
I guess?
Again, though, also what frustrates me in terms of games is being like, I get sometimes where you go, I think it's more of like, Does he notice that, God, he makes me super fucking nervous. I need to distract from me being a nervous, awkward pinata.
Right.
Which is totally more reasonable than going, does he notice how hard my heart beats? Because honestly,
beats.
I would be very, like, confused and alarmed if, like, I could see my friend's heart exploding out of their chest. Because your ribcage is, like, there for a reason.
Or, like, you can hear it, like, across the room.
Right.
Outside with the noises of nature in the city, because you're still in the freaking city.
Yeah, you're just in
You
the
would
park.
hear this heartbeat
You're
going,
like,
your senses are thing. He's like, it's a sound thing due to water in
no,
the
but
air.
due to our water also because
your
of your human body, yeah.
I can hear everything about you, so it doesn't actually matter.
It doesn't.
I should distract him from it. I pick up a new sandwich, handing it to him with confidence. I won't put this towards your face. Here, into
I
your
pick
hand.
up a new sandwich, handing it to him with confidence.
It's true.
Again, more.
No
I pick up a
commas.
new sandwich, comma, handing it to him with confidence.
I pick up a new sandwich, handing it to him with confidence. Did I pick up a sandwich, handing?
Sandwich hands.
It's fine, commas are good.
Look at my sandwich hands.
Sandwich hands.
Honestly, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't there like a series of puppets at one point? There were sandwiches.
Oh, I'm sure. I think they were
I know they were like in Sesame
in the Muppets
Street.
and in Sesame Street. You had
Yeah.
talkie sandwiches and hamburgers sometimes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. I remember.
but
I'm
yeah.
like, I swear there
You
was
said
like
something really specific. Okay.
I'm like,
so,
maybe it's just my brain trying to remember something.
We can look
like,
up sandwich puppets
I
when we're
have been
done.
so disappointed, speaking of like Muppets,
Oh, no.
that they haven't re-released ever the fucking, like, the Long John Silver one, the Muppet Treasure
the Pirates
Island.
of Muppet Treasure
I
Island.
haven't seen Muppet Treasure Island in decades.
Well, we should watch it. We'll make a point to
I'm
watch
sad.
it.
We don't
We'll have
even
to track it
have
down.
it.
Maybe the library has it. We check out a lot of things from the library.
It's true.
So we have a really good library system
We should
here.
probably do that.
All right, here. This is the part that goes in your mouth. Points away from my fingers. Points at the food part of it. Ha! He rolls his eyes and takes it from me, but actually eats it. He's just like, oh my god.
Please.
He's
Like, I didn't know I had sharp teeth either.
I had no idea until
I only found out now too. Actually, honestly, that would be super funny. Where your character's like, okay, I've got an idea. Like, it actually is like that active role play, but it's that actually like back and forth. We're making this up as we go along,
right.
kind of
You're
thing.
discovering
And
a
you're like, I have a
character.
character, and the other person makes a decision for you, and you actually allow it, right? Even though I know for some people, like, that is extreme god modding, and honestly, like, if you're gonna be role playing and you do that, do not do that without establishing beforehand that behavior is okay.
It's okay. Additionally, if somebody goes, I have this thing happen, if it doesn't match with your character, just be like, that doesn't work.
Right.
And then you can let them know basically what a good compromise is. So that's good cooperative role playing. I would say, but sometimes you go, like you just think dragon, you don't even realize you're adding anything, and you go, I cut my finger on your sharp tooth, and they go, I have sharp teeth, and then they go, oh, sharp teeth, sure,
Yeah,
that
sure.
works, yeah.
It would be super interesting. Like, you basically build character together. But then in that way, that could be fun. But unless you have a lot of trust and a lot of, like, boundaries in place with the person I think you're playing with, don't try it without
On the other hand, if he's
warning.
put on, like, essentially a human skin, and again, they don't normally look like this, he may not have realized he had sharp teeth in this form. If it was just kind of I'll do this.
Or maybe it's because he's super hungry.
Or
Again,
then
I
think
just
about-
went, oh, look, he became a vampire. Because part of the joke with vampires, and I say joke as somebody who likes vampires, is that usually when they're super hungry, their teeth all go sharp. That is very much like an a la carte.
I'm ready to eat right now.
Yes.
Ha!
It's like an a la carte thing from the Helsing series, which you can see in great amounts, basically, in that anime, too.
I'm glad he's finally eating something that's not my... Oh my god, he wasn't eating your fucking flesh. He puts hand with sandwich. He eats the entire thing. I come back with a bloody stump. Ow.
What was that for? Him? I'm sorry. You're the Dragon Princess. You can just
He just goes back. He's incredibly apologetic, very sorry culturally, but also going, and me, I've lost my fucking head. No, you'll grow... What do you mean? You'll grow it back.
You'll grow it back, but I didn't
But
mean
I'm
to eat
so
this
sorry.
arm.
Let me wrap it up for you. I'm so sorry. It's so rude, so inappropriate.
What? Yeah.
I'll do what? Oh my god, what?
Why not?
Not my flesh. He wasn't eating your flesh, dear.
He really
It's
wasn't.
fine. That was some of the best food I've had in a while.
There's so many varieties.
So many sandwiches still just seems
watching this
intellectually
mountain of sandwiches
still
is
makes
going-
me hungry. Going, I love sandwiches, and picturing like all of my favorite kinds of sandwiches in one place makes me go, I would want to eat until I wanted to die.
I actually
Just
think it's really
yum.
funny how much I don't like. I think sandwiches are fine, but I don't really specifically like go. I have sandwiches.
I think it's honestly a low-income thing. So for
might
me,
be.
when I was a kid, a fancy sandwich was a treat because it's expensive to put lettuce, tomato, onion, everything on there. It's expensive to do that. Also, some types of like bread can be really expensive. So for me, like Subway was expensive. So Subway was a treat to go out and buy, even a $5 sub.
Do you know what makes me feel bad?
What?
like, even though as a kid, so I don't really remember any specific conversations ever coming up. So even as much as where I will say that I was basically lower middle class, in terms of where I think we landed, I don't actually know. But the big thing was, too, is me growing up, like, there were lots of things that, like, I never had Haagen-Dazs ice cream, but I always assumed it was because there was something inappropriate about Haagen-Dazs ice cream. And, for example, and I took it that, like, Haagen-Dazs had, like, alcohol in it. Right? And I don't know where that association came from, but it was like Haagen-Dazs was basically inappropriate,
It was
right?
the bad thing,
It was one of the bad ice creams. And, like, going out to eat, for the most part, with my family seemed to be literally, we can't afford it, we won't do it. Except that there were tons of things around my house that were exceedingly always really expensive.
And your mom had
my mom had very different priorities.
I want to say a fetish for remodeling.
She really kind of did.
Yeah.
So if you don't know, so like plenty of times, and obviously you might be learning here, my mom really did was like, we had a house, and when we initially bought it, it was like $150,000. By the time we left, they were usually about $500,000 or more.
Because she'd remodel everything.
Every goddamn fucking thing in those houses. Now, it was cool, and it was neat, but, like, dude, my dad several times was like, excuse me, wife, why don't we just build a new house? It would be cheaper.
It would be cheaper, yeah. And the thing was that she wasn't, like, flipping the houses. She'd put in about as much as she was going to get out. She would kind of break even, kind of thing, because, you know, it wasn't like, I'm going to high upgrade. She just wanted to stylize it to herself.
Right.
All right.
I'm glad all of my preparation paid off.
It did.
You are incredibly studious.
You're very attentive. Honestly, he's very attentive. If you want to have someone notice you, Dylan is your boy. Like, he will pay attention. And also, again, do his research.
Though I suppose, honestly, for some people, so I feel like I should probably mention this, because Rye is also, in that sense, attentive. What he was paying attention to, obviously, though, was our writing. Dylan, basically, to me, I think why we've reacted more negatively is because we think in that sense of going, writing is much more personal and intimate in that sense, but caring about somebody's, like, food or eating habits.
So caring about bringing someone's fictional reality into the real world
without
is a
context.
different kind of, isn't necessarily attentiveness so much as participation in their creativity.
Right.
Now, you have to pay attention to their story, which is a form of attentiveness, but then, like, going, I brought your favorite food is very different than I recreated a scene from your story.
Right?
Like, there's a different level of like,
emotional
one
depth.
investment / commitment, but also, like, I assume you want the things from your fantasy.
Right?
Is different than, I know you like these foods.
Again, like, actually how we discussed it before was really just being like, what if we'd had something that basically someone would go, oh, that's problematic, and Rye had been, let's recreate that.
Yeah, and especially if he doesn't have as much context, and you're like, I have a non-confic that I think is hot as hell and is properly labeled.
All right.
And it turns out to be this great sweeping romance in this fictional problematic experience.
Right.
But I love it. If he wants to reproduce that for you.
Oh God.
Yeah, like that's a thing.
Yeah.
That falls into really, really unfortunate territory.
I still say I want to read their writing though.
I do. I want it. His statement suddenly reminds me of something he said before. Oh, wait a minute. He mentioned he was preparing himself to be mine earlier.
Is that new?
What was he talking about?
What?
Ask him what he means. Because this side of me is only for you. Sure, I'm asking what he means.
Sure, why not? I mean, like, in terms of, like, Smol, like, I am actually kind of annoyed where sometimes it seems like Smol is super direct, and then Smol immediately falls apart like an anime pro tag, like,
going, overwhelmed. Yeah, so Smol is, on the other hand, again, we don't know Smol at all outside of being super stressed out.
Right.
Like, we have not known her as an individual outside of being high stressed. Now, apparently, based on the narrative of this game, she only writes when she's very comfortable.
Right.
Because she is not used as a coping mechanism at all, or an outlet while stressed.
Right.
So that's an interesting thing about her. Ask him what he means. I want to know what he means.
Sure, why not?
Earlier, you said you were preparing your whole life to be with me. He was preparing his whole life to be with the Dragon Slayer princess.
Yeah.
I doubt it was with you specifically.
Yes.
But I don't know. What did you mean? Dylan's eyes close for a moment. His face becomes more stony and serious than usual.
You've been a very important part of my life since the moment you were born.
Was he there as an adult watching you with the dragon elders? All these princes of indeterminate age?
Going,
In the birthing room?
Right.
The mom. Why?
I hate this.
But we've only met recently.
Ever since I can remember, my destiny was predetermined that I would marry you.
Yes, and that if you could succeed, you would marry me.
Yes.
Really? So you weren't allowed to have crushes or
I
love anyone
love
else?
that, actually. Sometimes I've wondered that, even in regards to where I've written my own stuff, because sometimes the predestined love thing is kind of fun, just in the sense of because it takes off a lot of the pressure.
It also
I feel like
it can be a fun thing to write, and also like it can be an interesting dynamic to explore, where some people could be like, I'm stuck in this love thing, and some people could be like, that part of my life is set.
Right.
I'm good. I will prepare for that, and also set up the rest of my life in reference to it.
Right, and also going, you know where you're going. It's nice to basically know where I'm going every single day from 9 to 5.
It's a real. I don't have to make any decisions. This is it. This is part of my life.
Yep.
All right. Really? So, but also you weren't allowed to have crushes or love anyone else. That's an interesting aware question.
Right? Absolutely not. What?
Like,
that also sounds incredibly control.
Anyways, it's a love band kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of going, you know who you're going to be involved with. You should put all your romantic and, basically attention towards them. And
can you imagine then this ends and you don't pick him?
Oh, God. Again, we felt like this was writing towards Dylan the entire time.
I did
We
too.
have felt like that. I feel like this game, if you play it multiple times, they intend you to pick Dylan the first time. Like, there are 3 different personalities pitched here, but Dylan really seems to have a strong case made for pick him. He's the most, he's the least creepy in some ways. He's the most open in some ways. He's the least pushy directly, because the other 2 are more assumptive and in your space in one way or another.
Right.
And
that could, again, though, just be how we're seeing him, which is, again, one of those
That's true.
frustrations that I have.
But this is our interpretation anyway, so somebody could totally see him differently. Anyway,
yeah, and that's fine.
So his parents would never allow us.
But like, especially in regards to the kinds of scenes that we tend to have with him versus everyone else, even Rye. Rye seems to be like the thing of going like, even if you abandon being the Dragon Slayer princess, blah, 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 whatever, you'll still get to be with Rye.
Also full of conflict kind of thing.
It kind of is.
I want to be a prince. I don't want to be a prince. I'm fine being a prince if it's married to you, but I don't actually like being a prince. But dude, make up
your mind.
Make up your mind.
And
then
Phoenix
decide
really
about
is the one with the least amount of drama, just the most.
Like, he has no conflict. He's like, I am here. This is fine. Let me just go pick up my wife.
Yep.
Take her back to my land. Everything's done. We're good. Good. I got it. We're fine.
Nice. I guess.
Why aren't we all fine? I came down here to get my wife.
I have a purpose.
And then to get her back home. Set her up installed in my kingdom, get everything moving again, and then take over the other kingdoms and consolidate the world. That's my plan.
Perfect.
Really simple. I'm not at odds with my family, myself, my beliefs, my harem, anything. I'm really good.
I'm fine.
I got everything set.
I still love our headcanon that he's gay.
He's hilarious. He's lovely.
I love, I don't know, for me that just seems to be infinitely more charming, just in the sense of going like, I just like the idea of going like, people going, I can really just make a decision.
I can totally do my duty, and it's not a big deal, and it's not high drama. Going, sure, I can marry a girl even if I am sexually attracted to men. How does that matter?
Yeah,
it's fine. Hey, looks at the other 2. You guys are made of drama. You know that? Drama and angst. I should call you Drama with a side of angst, and that's your ship name.
Look, here's the entire thing.
Yep.
Ah, yes, you are water. And, I mean, your guys are just a rainstorm. That's your ship name.
Your ship is Rainstorm. I love it. It's good.
There we go. I came up with it. Now make out. I'll be right here.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll just wait over here. I'll learn this checkers thing. Okay. All right, anyway, so.
My parents would have never allowed such a thing. They made sure that you were my only focus.
On the other hand, that could be an incredibly positive, warm thing of going, you're going to go and you're going to be fully equipped and this person is going to love you back.
And also for some other people, that could be wildly, really obsessive and also incredibly controlling.
It could be super strange. It would depend on how your parents approach it.
Yes. Every day I studied and perfected my skills so that I could be of use to you. Which is also weird in terms of pointing out that Smol has also directly shat on him. He also doesn't seem to know a lot of things about the human world, which is still then completely contrarian to this idea.
Unless, again, he wasn't supposed to need any skills here because he knew she was going to be spending the rest of her life there, and he expected her to be trained and prepared when he showed up. Right. So that he would show up, he would be completely ready and prepared for the life she knew she was going to and had been raised to know she was going to, and then he would be the best candidate.
That's true.
So she is the wrench in this whole process by going, I'm a what?
I'm a
Smol,
what?
you're a wizard. I'm a what? All right, anyway.
I memorized all your likes. Yes, no. I memorized all your likes and your dislikes. So the reason I'm grumpy
he only
is because
did this after he got here. Because the way the narrative goes is these things were only things he knew after he arrived. And now he's speaking historically, so we're going, what?
And also the thing is, too, is that he doesn't seem to be connected very much or at all to basically the writing. What? I wasn't permitted to go outside or do things normal kids do. That
Not
seems
because I was a prince, not because I had royal duties, not because I had political obligations, not because I was going to take over my country, but because I was going to marry you. What?
That seems weird.
That seems
and
weird.
extreme.
That seems like that wouldn't help
Like,
your
not
country.
that it wasn't already some implication, even if it was going to be positive, that still is kind of potentially really extreme.
Also, completely going the things normal kids do. Normal kids aren't freaking princes.
Normal kids also aren't freaking dragons.
Yeah, that's true. Unless they're normal dragon kids. Who knows what normal dragon kids do?
I don't, right? Not a moment could be wasted on anything that wasn't you.
Except for it should be wasted on anything that isn't me, because you should also know how to lead your own country. You should be
That's so
learning leadership
ridiculous.
skills.
Yeah.
Well, I learned leadership skills to complement Small. Well, I learned government to complement Small. I like,
Small doesn't
whoa.
know shit. Like, that's the other problem. I mean, like,
if you're
Small
expecting
is...
this to be a partnership so I could be of use to you and so we could work together, you are in trouble. Again, she is the wrench in all this. All right, wow.
This is ridiculous. Well, thank you very much, guys, then, for joining us. If you like what we do, we're going to be back here again next time. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And also feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi and our Patreon. We got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!